What if I told you most men don't give up their power in relationships? They leak it, slowly, quietly, one compromise at a time, not because they're weak, but because no one ever showed them the rules of emotional leverage, of masculine presence, of self-respect that doesn't fold under intimacy. And by the time they realize what's happening, it's already gone. So let's break it down. Here are 5 reasons men lose power in relationships and how to reclaim it. Reason 1, you start living for her mood. At first, you're just trying to make her happy. She's upset. You try to fix it. She's distant. You lean in. She's cold. You question yourself. Every shift in her energy feels like a test, and you start performing. You're not leading anymore. You're reacting. And here's the truth. The moment her emotional state becomes your compass, you've lost your edge, because now your peace depends on her storm. And that's not love. That's survival. Let that sink in. A grounded man doesn't chase comfort. He creates it. He holds frame, even when the room shakes. He doesn't fold just because she's in a bad mood. Power isn't about control. It's about emotional stability. Yours. Reason 2, you abandon your mission. Remember who you were before the relationship? Focused, hungry, dialed in. Now, you're busy checking her texts, planning dates to keep the spark alive, making sure she's okay. You stopped chasing your purpose because you started chasing her validation. And here's what no one tells you. A woman is drawn to a man who's already going somewhere, not a man who orbits her. She might say she wants more attention, more time, more emotional availability, but deep down, she wants to feel like she's with a man who's going places, not a man who dropped everything just to be close. The mission comes first, always. Because if you abandon that, you're no longer the man she was attracted to in the first place. Reason 3, you apologize for your standards. You want space, but you feel guilty asking for it. You want respect, but you're afraid she'll call you controlling. You set a boundary and then soften it to keep the peace. You start apologizing for the very things that made you masculine. Let me be clear. A man without standards isn't nice. He's invisible. Power doesn't come from force. It comes from clarity. This is who I am. This is what I tolerate. This is how I live. Not in a rigid, egotistical way, but in a quiet, unapologetic knowing. If she respects you, she'll meet you there. If she doesn't, you'll know early, and that saves both of you time. Never dim your light to make her feel comfortable. You weren't born to be digestible. You were born to be undeniable. Reason 4, you overinvest too early. You meet someone. She's amazing. You click, and instantly, you're all in. You drop your plans. Start cancelling on your boys. Text her first, every time, thinking about the future before she's even earned your past. But here's the law. You can't give king-level loyalty to someone you just crowned queen. Real power is patient. It waits. It watches. It doesn't rush to prove. It lets things unfold. When you overinvest too soon, you tip the scale. She doesn't feel chosen. She feels pressured. And now, the dynamic shifts. Because she didn't fall for a man who clings. She fell for the one who had options and still chose her. Not the guy who hands over his heart like a resume, but the one who says, I know my value, and I'm watching to see if you match it. Slow it down. Make her earn your depth. That's not cold. That's confident. Reason 5, you let fear make your choices. You're afraid of losing her, so you stay silent. You're afraid of conflict, so you agree when you don't mean it. You're afraid of being alone, so you tolerate disrespect. But every time you choose fear over truth, you trade power for comfort. And comfort doesn't build connection. It builds resentment. Real strength isn't loud. It's honest. It says the thing you don't want to say. It holds the boundary even when your voice shakes. And most of all, it's willing to walk away from what isn't aligned. Because the man who's willing to walk away is the one who rarely has to. Let that land. Here's what it really comes down to. You don't lose power in a single moment. You lose it in 1,000 tiny decisions. Each time you stay quiet when you should speak. Each time you seek approval instead of living your truth. Each time you shrink just to be accepted. But power, masculine power, can be rebuilt. It starts by reclaiming your presence, your purpose, your standards. You don't need to become someone else. You just need to remember who you were before you forgot, before you twisted yourself to fit someone's idea of love, before you believed that softness meant sacrifice, before you started asking for permission to be you. This isn't about dominating anyone. It's about returning to your center, because when you lead with grounded truth, When you stop chasing and start embodying, you don't lose power. You become the source of it.